You just harvested your first flush. Weeks of work, dialing in humidity, checking your tub every single day, and it finally paid off. So you set them out to dry, wait a day or two, they feel dry to the touch, so you jar them up. Then 3 weeks later, you open that jar and something is wrong. They're soft, they smell off. Maybe there's a faint sign of mold creeping in. No. That's not a growing problem, that's a drying problem. And it's one of the most common mistakes beginners make because mushrooms can feel dry on the outside but still retain moisture on the inside. That hidden moisture can undo all of our hard work, and it's exactly what happened to me on my first successful grow. I thought I had done everything correct, but unfortunately I messed up this part of the process. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete process from drying to testing to storing your mushrooms so you can perform this with confidence. Let's get into it. Here's something that surprised me when I first got started. Mushrooms are over 90% water, and that's not an exaggeration. A 100 gram fresh harvest will likely end up being less than 10 grams when it's fully dry. And all that water isn't just dead weight, it's what keeps the normal biological processes happening. Bacteria, enzymes, natural decomposition all rely on moisture. And that's the whole point of this step. You see, when we remove water, those processes effectively pause, allowing us to store our mushrooms long term without degradation. This isn't about texture or appearance, this is about fighting against biology. And this is exactly why mushrooms can deceive you. After a few hours of dehydrating, they'll feel crispy and dry on the outside, but unfortunately, that doesn't tell the entire story. You see, the interior, especially on thicker mushrooms, can still hold on to a surprising amount of moisture. And if you go based on how the outside feels, when these things feel dry, you're gonna throw them in a jar and that moisture is slowly gonna redistribute over time. And that unfortunately creates the exact environment that will shorten the shelf life of our mushrooms drastically. So the standard we're shooting for today is not dry enough, but rather completely dry. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to test for that. To complete the step in the mushroom growing process, you only need a few things, and fortunately, none of them are really expensive. First up is a food dehydrator. Now, some people will ask whether they can use an air fryer, an oven, or just air dry their mushrooms, and those things can work, but here's the problem. Ovens and air fryers are hot and inconsistent, and the mushrooms closer to the heating element are gonna get extra heat, extra crispy, and that can risk damaging some of those compounds that we want to protect. Open air drying is slower and less reliable, especially if you live in a humid environment. Maybe if you're out in the driest desert and you just want to angle a fan at those, you could probably get by okay. But for most people, I would say it's just less reliable. What makes a dehydrator ideal here isn't necessarily the heat, it's just that low temperature, consistent airflow. Warm moving air is what's gonna completely pull moisture out of your mushrooms, and you don't need anything fancy. Just a basic stackable dehydrator will work fine here. And I'll link the one I use here down in the description, and I would say this is probably the go-to basic sort of budget-friendly option. The second thing we're gonna need are glass mason jars. We don't wanna use plastic containers or Ziploc bags if they can be avoided because they slowly allow air exchange over time. Unlike these glass jars, they'll do a much better job of keeping that airtight seal we want. And the third thing we're gonna need is something called a desiccant pack. These are just small food-safe silica gel packets that will help absorb any potential ambient moisture that should make its way into our jar. Ideally, if we dry our mushrooms sufficiently, we're not really gonna need these. These are just kind of a cheap insurance policy just in case. I like to use these packs that have the color indicating beads. They have a few beads in there that are bright orange, and as they absorb moisture, they'll slowly darken. So you can just kind of look through the jar and see whether the beads still look bright, or if they've gotten darker, that's an indication that moisture has gotten into the jar somehow. More on that in a minute though. That's genuinely all you need though. Now let's walk through the actual dehydration process. When we load up the trays on our dehydrator, we want to give the mushrooms a little bit of breathing room. If we overcrowd the trays, it's going to reduce airflow and ultimately slow the whole process down. I generally use every single tray that I have to really maximize the space between the mushrooms and just allow the best airflow. If you find yourself with any mushrooms that are too large, feel free to just cut them in half lengthwise, or sometimes I'll just slice the cap off so they can lay a little bit flatter. Now for temperature, I like to run my dehydrator at 104 degrees Fahrenheit, which is on the lower end of things because I feel like it's more gentle on the mushrooms. Now some growers really like to use maybe 130 or 140 degrees Fahrenheit to dry their mushrooms, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I'm probably just overly cautious and overly paranoid. I don't want to expose these mushrooms to any more heat than I have to really get them dry. Just coming from a place of really wanting to protect any of those potentially delicate compounds. Just to be clear though, anything in that range is probably going to do just fine. What really matters is that we run the dehydrator long enough. For a smaller harvest, like a small shoebox monotub that I have here, expect somewhere between 12 to 24 hours. For a full dehydrator, densely packed with a ton of mushrooms, it's probably gonna be closer to 24 to 48 hours. And don't worry, you can't over dry your mushrooms. Once they reach peak dryness, they're not gonna dry anymore. They would just sort of stabilize there. So when in doubt, dry them out. This is the part a lot of beginners skip, and it's arguably the most important step in this entire process. Before we test anything, we want to turn the dehydrator off and let the mushrooms cool for a few minutes. Warm mushrooms are going to have a tendency to feel more dry, even if they're holding a little bit of residual moisture inside, so it's important that we let them cool to a room temperature before we perform this test. Once they've cooled down for a few minutes, we're going to grab the thickest mushrooms in the batch, and we're simply going to hold them up and try to snap them in half like a cracker. It shouldn't bend, it shouldn't flex, it should snap cleanly, and you should hear a snap. And that clean break is exactly what we're looking for. If it feels rubbery or if it kind of flexes at all, that's a sign that there's still moisture and we need to dehydrate these things further. And I know it seems kind of simple, but this is the most reliable method that science has found for testing whether or not your mushrooms are truly dry. Well, I guess at least testing dryness without any expensive equipment. Once your mushrooms pass the snap test, storage is a bit more straightforward. Our three enemies now are moisture, air, and light. We want to throw our dried mushrooms into some mason jars and add a desiccant pack based on how fully you pack these jars. If we're using 1 quart jars, I throw 1 pack in there for like a half full jar and probably 2 packs for a completely full jar. I'm just using these little baby jars here today, so I'm going to throw 1 desiccant pack in there and then fill them up with mushrooms. Then we'll close that lid, give the jar a little shake, and you should hear that nice, clean, crispy rattle of freshly dried mushrooms. Now, about those indicator beads. If you check your jars after a week or two and notice those beads have shifted from a bright orange to maybe a more brownish or just darker orange, that's a sign that moisture has gotten inside the jar. You'll have to determine whether that could come from a loose lid or maybe there was some residual moisture inside the mushrooms that you actually missed. Anyway, you don't need to panic here. Just take those mushrooms, throw them back on the dehydrator for a few hours, switch to a new desiccant pack. After they're dried again, test, throw them back in the jar, and make sure it's sealed nice and tight. If it's only been a week or two, those mushrooms are still probably perfectly fine. That desiccant pack did exactly what it's supposed to by warning you of the moisture inside. Now for storage, a cool, dark spot is ideal. Something like maybe a closet shelf or like a kitchen drawer somewhere. Anywhere really away from direct light. Light will slowly degrade the mushrooms over time, so darker is pretty much better here, and you don't need to worry about putting them in a fridge or a freezer. In fact, I'd probably avoid a fridge or freezer as the temperature fluctuations can cause condensation inside, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Room temperature, dark and stable is perfectly fine. Properly dried mushrooms can last a really long time. People online have talked about their harvests lasting several years. Personally, my mushrooms have never stayed around long enough to test that theory because I go through them too fast, but maybe your experience has been different, and if it has, if you've had mushrooms last a pretty long time, let me know in the comments down below. One thing worth covering here is grinding up your mushrooms into a powder, and a lot of people do this to either put them into supplement capsules, make tinctures, or just like throw them in their coffee or smoothies. This is a viable strategy here, and it adds a degree of convenience to your life, but we do, by grinding up the mushrooms, increase the surface area, and that extra surface area can lead to additional oxidation, so it can sort of speed up the process at which these mushrooms will no longer be good. My personal recommendation would probably be to either store them whole and just grind them up as needed, or if you're gonna grind them up, at least throw them into capsules. And if you are gonna press your mushrooms into measured capsules, I made a video about how to do that, and I'll link it in the description down below. Now, there's one more important thing to cover before I wrap up this video. The grow isn't over just because we harvested our mushrooms and then dehydrated them. After we harvest our first flush, the monotub still probably has a lot of life in it and can generate 2, 3, 4, even 5 more flushes. That's a lot of additional mushrooms from the same monotub. So in the next video, I'm gonna cover exactly how we rehydrate that monotub, let it rest, and basically get it ready to keep growing mushrooms. Drying mushrooms isn't exactly glamorous. It's not the part of the process that everybody gets really excited about, but it is the step that determines whether these mushrooms can safely last years or whether they're gonna slowly degrade on your shelf over the next few weeks. You already did the hard part, you grew something. Now this is just to make sure your hard work doesn't go to waste. And that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching and happy growing.